If you ever watch one of those videos, I quit my 9 to 5 and moved to a village to find peace, nature, community, and my soul. Stop, delete it, and listen to me. Living in a village is not by default a spiritual upgrade. It can actually be a social and psychological prison disguised as a peaceful retreat. And I'm here to dismantle the romanticized nonsense with real data. And in the end, I will tell you exactly who can survive in a village and who should never even try. Before you throw rocks at me in the comments, know that I have lived 6 years in a village. Yes, I survived, but I was once delusional, sleep-deprived dreamer chasing golden sunsets, tile roofs, and a peaceful life filled with chickens, wildflowers, and a nice community. Quick note, I still like the chickens. They are good. I fed my brain with Instagram reels and escaped the city vlogs until I convinced myself I need this. But here's the truth. Some of the benefits are real, but they are not free. They come with hidden and high costs. Most people don't see them coming until they get hit. Let's dive into them. Are you looking for lower cost of living? You might get it. Rent is cheaper. Buying land is a different story, but still, data show that rural EU housing costs 32% lower than urban areas. However, that only works if you are self-sufficient and healthy. If your location is a remote paradise, buying grocery in local shops, if any, will cost you at least double what you are paying in a supermarket. Normal, because the cost of transport stuff to a hidden gem is high and transferred to you, dear villager. Getting internet, medical care, or delivery services will be much more expensive too. In my village, I had good quality internet, but based on the Eurostat 2023, 63% of rural area in Europe still lack fiber optic access. So in some cases, your digital nomad dream can just vanish or be super expensive. About healthcare, options go from no healthcare at all to rural clinics closing at 5 p.m. The nearest hospital 45 minutes away. So if you get sick, you are pretty much on your own. Ambulances reach my village in a decent time, consider the distance to the closest city. However, I don't know how fast this is in case of heart attack or a stroke. And remote villages don't have these options. There is no ambulance or doctor available. You are left with a shaman or an elder with a folk remedy and a prayer. Cost of living is directly linked to income and jobs. Well, 78% of rural youth leave their villages for cities. Why? Because there are no jobs. You can't start a business if there are no customer base. Even if you grow your own food, you have to drive 2 hours to sell your surplus at a market. Most villages are a demographic dead zone. They are basically just a retirement homes with more trees. We're talking about an inverted pyramid where the median age is higher than a skyscraper. When the local economy is driven solely by pensioners and subsistence level services, there is zero economic dynamics. There is no innovation, no venture capital, no new energy. It's just closed loop of stagnant capital. You won't find any hustle there. You will find people waiting for their pensions. Do you want less environmental pollution and more nature? Granted, air quality is better. Noise levels are lower. Nature is truly therapeutic. It's a proven fact. Rural inhabitants have a lower rates of respiratory disease. However, living in a village, something as simple as going for a walk means you are surrounded by eyes. Every step is monitored. Every silence is interpreted. Rephrasing this.
Every time you leave the house, they will know. They will talk. They will judge.
I know you want to live in a safer place. Me too. Yes, violent crime is lower in villages, but emotional crime is skyrocketing. What do I mean? Gossip is the most practiced sport. Rumors spread faster than a wildfire. One mistake and you're excommunicated. No court, no appeal, just silence or worse, you will be the only topic during weeks or months. It all depends on how long it takes for another rumor to surface, so there is a new meat for the piranhas to chew on. Are you looking for a stronger sense of place? At first glance, the smaller the crowd, the easier to integrate, right? Well, no, because currently, villages are not necessary communities. Perhaps they were once, but nowadays, many people move there to avoid other humans by limiting interactions through beautiful but solid boundaries, aka gardens and fences. Have you ever heard the phrase, everybody wants to live in a village, but no one wants to be a villager? People are not really connected. You are not a part of a group. Best case, you're a part of a surveillance network. And that's it. Yes, the uncomfortable truth behind the village survivor is that the village is not a community. It's a cultural echo chamber. A sociology paper from the University of Cambridge explains rural communities exhibit high in-group homogeneity and low tolerance for cultural deviation. The "we have always done it this way" mindset is not just a cliche, it's a survival mechanism for maintaining social coherence in an isolated areas. Yes, many of these culture artifacts, called villages, have preserved in time due to their resistance to change and hostility toward innovation. So, what happened when you, a modern, non traditional, progressive person, move in? You are labeled weird. You are constantly harassed. Why don't you go back to the city? You don't understand our ways. Your partner? Too modern. Your kids? Not respectful. Your lifestyle? Unnatural. Unnatural. Yes, in modern age of AI, if you are a woman, you are not a person or a professional. You must be a daughter, wife, mother, grandmother. Those are the only valid badges in a village. And hopefully you're a good cook. Otherwise you'll be screwed. Village women inquisition is ruthless toward any woman who doesn't fulfill her duties in the kitchen. You heard that?
What is true? Thanks for the rock.
If you're a man, no matter your actual job or passion, you're expected to be a provider. No other role available, so don't insist. You won't impress villagers wearing a suit or showing off an advanced degree. You must be sweaty, dirty, smelly from physical labor if you want to impress them. Studies show it. Gender role rigidity is 2.4 times higher in villages than in urban centers. LGBTQ plus individuals report double the rates of social exclusion in rural areas compared to the cities. And don't even get me started on religion. In many villages, religion is not just a belief, it's the law. Let's get back to the gossiping because it's a big thing. It's not just small talks, but a full-blown psychological warfare disguised as a concern. Listen, in villages with population under 500, 92% of residents report knowing every detail for at least 3 other households' private lives. And this one is less than 500.
We are fucked.
Shit. This is called social microsurveillance. Why? Because there is nothing else to do. Retirees? No hobbies. Teenagers? No escape. Many others? No purpose. So they spend their time observing, judging, and spreading rumors. You buy a new car? They think they are better than us. You wear feminine clothes? That's not how girls dress here. Studies show that in tight-knit rural communities, social surveillance is 3.8 times higher than in urban areas. The lack of anonymity leads to chronic social anxiety, stress, depression, especially among young adults and non-normative identities. And the worst part? There is no escape. No bars, no coffee places, no theaters or clubs. Okay, but you have the nature and its silence is peace, right? Well, not in this case. In a village, silence isn't silence, it's emotional vacuum. So when you are fed up and need a moment alone to breathe and clear your mind, even among the bushes, every step you take triggers a surveillance camera.
You are not alone. You are watched. You are not invisible. You are documented. Every time you walk down the street, your life becomes social data points. You are not a resident. You are spectacle.
And remember, you can't ghost someone here.
They know where you live. They know your dog's name and they know what you did last summer. Ha 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 ha.
If you are from outside the culture, meaning you are a non-traditional person or a foreigner, know it. You are not welcome. You are a guest, and guests are always scrutinized. Foreigners in rural areas face higher rates of discrimination, lower access to services, and greater social exclusion than in cities. Why? Because in villages, identity is not fluid, it's fixed. You don't become a part of the village. You're either from here or not from here. And if you are not from here, you're always the outsider. Even if you have lived there 10 years and no matter how friendly you are, best case you will be the American, the Brit, or the German, not John, David, or Hans. You can argue, but I already speak their language. And the villagers will answer, but you don't think like us. You respect the traditions, but you're not one of us. It's an exhausting sociological tragedy. Currently, most villagers have groups of people who know each other's business but don't know each other's souls. Listen, it gets even harder for those who don't fit in the mold. Gender roles are rigid. Men fix things, women cook. If you are a woman who works outside the home, she doesn't care about her family. She's morally loose. Moral expectations are a non-negotiable. No weird fashions, no foreign ideas. You're not allowed to change. If you do, you are not just different, you are unpopular. And here is the kicker. You don't even realize how much you are being shaped. Because the rules are not written, the pressure is invisible. It's in the sideways glances, it's in the tone, look, and the silence that follows after you speak. It's in the way people stop talking when you walk in. You are not judged for what you do. You are judged for what you might do. And you can't escape it. So, let's get real. This environment is not for everybody. Many people have been mentally and emotionally destroyed by it. So, to survive it, first you need a bulletproof mind. You truly don't care what people think. Let's say you've been called weird since childhood and you've grown used to it without a trauma. You can laugh at insults and ignore stares. You can walk into a room and be invisible without feeling lonely. Second, you need an economic plan, a job that doesn't depend on the village. You work remotely, you run an online business, you are a digital nomad with a stable income, and you really can handle others call you lazy because they don't understand your job. Remember, no dirt, no sweat, no cow smell. For them, you don't have a real job. You're only a lazy addict to a computer. Third, you have to be truly self-sufficient and eager to learn. You can grow food, especially if your location is complicated, so is your access to a supermarket. You are not allergic to physical labor and handyman work, so you know how to fix appliances, leaks, dam walls, and ideally a roof. My village is only 20 kilometers away from a city, and we still need miracle to hire a plumber, electrician, builder. Either they refuse the job because of the location, or they want a fortune and your kidney to do it. If you don't want to do such tasks, your only choice will be to ask a neighbor for help, and that will trigger the judgment of all the retirees. Even if they don't move a finger to help you, you're pointless, man. Fourth, you must be truly resilient to social pressure. It means you can endure walking into an office and being ignored. You can go a month without speaking to anybody and not feel lonely. You know how to disappear in your own head to avoid that hostility harms you. Fifth, your real objective is not to be part of the community, but to have solitude. You're looking only for proximity to nature, a calm environment and space. So you don't want or need to belong. You have enough friends, human connections, and meaningful conversation somewhere else. Yes, a village can work for you. Finally, you must be resilient to death. Nobody tells you this. I learned it through a personal experience. During these years living in a village, I got a very few friends. They were all 65 plus because the population is so small and mostly pensioners, and by now, all are dead. We all know that we will die, but when death is constant around you, it takes a toll on the mind and your emotions. I mean, even young people unfortunately die, but when your friends are mostly young people, it's less common to hear that they are again in the hospital or dying one after another. Dealing with death on a constant basis is not my superpower. It's hard to lose a friend. Back to our rant mode. If you don't fit this profile, but you still want to enjoy nature, peace, silence, and simplicity, go to a national park or a forest or a cabin, but don't move to a village. It will crush you. Whatever your choice is, be sure you live in a place that, even with its flaws, at least lets you be yourself. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you agree, or if you found an idyllic and gossip-free village, come on, share this location because we are totally into it. Subscribe and let's run together.
God. So, are we moving back to the city?
No, no way. Better look for another planet or something.